The 1984-1985 era was a fairly disastrous one, with several games premiering in a row that wouldn't have a long shelf life. Balance Game was one of those games that debuted to some hype, was played on occasion, and then retired almost 2 years later. With this game having such a short existence and little contestant interest, this is going to be another tough list, folks. Here we go with 5 fun facts about Balance Game 1. Number 5. Barker Silver Dollars. The silver dollars used in Balance Game were obviously not legal currency. They were specially minted silver dollars with Bob's face engraved on them. Maybe a bit egotistical, but also very much a branded relic of the era, with some of them even becoming collector's items in later years. But not all of the coins, which leads me to... Number 4. Silver dollars were later reused. Many of the silver dollars used in the old Balance Game were purported to later be reused when the new version of the Balance Game was created in 2006. But I'll talk about Balance Game 2 when it's time to cross that bridge. On a side note, All Pricing Games has officially reached 3 years old. Honestly, I never expected this series to continue for 3 years, as this started as a pandemic project. And while I have sadly lost most of my audience over time, All Pricing Games is still the most popular series on my channel. So for those of you who have stuck around since the beginning, I appreciate your continued support, and I hope to finish the series one day. Okay, moving on. Number 3. It was rarely played in its second year. Balance Game was only played 5 times during Season 14, being retired halfway through the year. It was obvious by the second year that audiences simply were not interested in this game the way the production staff had hoped. Number 2. It was retired with 3 other games. By the end of 1985, there was a purging of sorts, as several of the least popular games were chopped heading into the second half of the 1980s. Among those games that were retired were this one, along with Trader Bob, the not yet premiered On the Nose, and Walk of Fame. This would open up room for new games and some great ones that were just shortly ready to premiere on the horizon. And the number 1 fun fact about Balance Game 1, it was retired likely due to the confusing rules. Balance Game was a confusing game with convoluted rules that led to contestants never really gaining a grasp on it. Much like Hit Me in the later part of its run, Bob had to essentially hold the contestant's hand through this game from beginning to end, really killing the fun of it. Thus, Balance Game will go on as being a short-lived game from an era that is otherwise looked fondly upon by longtime fans of the show.